Hello, my name's Dave Jones, aka Zed Bias, aka Mad Slinky, and a few other names. And I'm here today giving a talk about the Red Bull Music Academy. And we've had a few nice people come up today and listen to me and Benji B give our experiences of what it was like to be part of the Red Bull Music Academy. The reason I have a lot of names was really to put more records out at any one time. So, for instance, I could have 5 different records under 5 different names, all on the same record shelf from this record shop. That was my initial idea. These days, it's not so important. I tend to just keep a couple of names that I have my projects under. But yeah, back in the day, it was very important to me to have lots of names and to keep them secret too. Breakbeat garage was really breaks, just old breakbeats chopped up and given swing in the programming. So the same way that old US house had really swingy, shuffly beats, that was the main sort of sound for UK garage as well. But then the drum sounds were replaced with breakbeats, basically, but would keep the same grooves. So this, yeah, that what I've described there, that process is basically how I approached garage from my very first garage records, using a different breakbeat for each track, maybe 2 or 3 within a track. And yeah, I guess the name caught on around 2000, 2001. But I wasn't consciously trying to do anything. I was just making my own version of breaks, really. The fact that it swang and all of the stuff like that, you know. David Guetta will probably argue with that a little bit, but I know what you mean. Yeah, it's very much the centre of the stage is the voice, right? I think it's easier to market for a company to spend money on marketing. It's easier and more beneficial to them to have a young, fresh face who tends to be the vocalist. You know, studio guys, they stay up all night, they don't sleep much, they smoke too many cigarettes, they don't look like fresh-faced young wannabe stars, yeah? Not all of them, some of them do. But it's a lot easier, I think, in general to market the vocalists, especially with pop videos. Videos are a lot more common now. So really, you know, the stars of the videos, if it's a vocal track, is always going to be the vocalist. I think, you know, as many people know the producers' names, yeah. But they might not know what they look like. Yeah. It's all to do with the record label, really, and how they want to portray them. I mean, David Guetta is an exception to the rule, right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's making pop dance, but with MCs on there or R&B singers, and he's up there dancing and with makeup on, and you know what I mean, he's as much the star, but it's not normal. I started working for Red Bull Music Academy in 2002. They asked me to come to Sao Paulo, where I gave a guest lecture. I just flew in for 2 days, and I had such a great time. I stayed for over a week. I changed my flight twice because the experience was immense, you know. I was meeting people that they were like idols to me, do you know what I mean? Like, they really inspired me. So my first experience of Red Bull Music Academy was very much like a participant's would be. You know, there was a lot of people around me, a lot bigger than me, and a lot more sort of revered. And I gained so much out of it, you know. I think the next year I didn't do anything, but in 2004 they called me again to go on as part of the studio team in Rome, and that was just to see it first time, you know, for the first time really work. You know, I know a lot of people thought that was the first year where the studios in Red Bull Music Academy really worked. There was tracks being made, a lot of collaborations between artists, and it was being captured in a really good quality, and you know, the whole vibe surrounding it was really good. So for this experience alone, I think it's worth the application. I made Neighbourhood in 1998 in about 3 hours. It was originally a dub plate made for a friend of mine at the time called Glenn Woods, a local DJ in the town I lived. And he used to be the resident DJ at our local garage night. We used to get guests come in every week, and he would play immediately before the guests. So he came to me to ask me to make a dub plate that would basically, in his words, bury the rest of the DJs that will come up. Yeah, the last tune he played, he wanted it to be just so big that they couldn't compete. You know what I mean? And I had a go at that basically, and got lucky because every time he cut it on a dub plate, back in those days you had to make a special record, a dub plate. Every time he cut it on dub plate and would play it before the guests would play, the guests would end up taking it with them, because they would pay him £50 for the dub plate, because it was just really like a big sounding record. So at that point I was seeing it sort of in the club working at that level. It had Glenn's vocals over the top. The original Neighbourhood vocals was "Listen to my man Glenn Woods in my neighbourhood." So we changed that to make it a single. And Locked On, they jumped on it straight away. They were a big label back in the day. And it finally got a release on XL in 2000. So it was a good 2 years on the underground, really, that track. If I'm honest, my character is a little bit obsessive. So whatever I do, I sort of obsess over it. I do it until I can't do it anymore. But I never got to that point with music. It's always something left that I can say or do. And I'm learning all the time, that also helps. The fact that the technology is changing and improving all the time. So in a way, there's too much to learn for me to stop making music. I enjoy that part of it as much as making it. Hello, calling out to all you music lovers and music makers and DJs and enthusiasts. We're calling upon you to apply for this golden opportunity. Forget about all the branding, all the doubts in your mind. Yeah, this is a wholesome experience, one that will actually change your life. You will get to meet people you never imagined you would get to meet. And, if you're lucky enough to be part of this thing, you'll be part of a huge alumni, a worldwide alumni, a special little club that will always be there to support you and your music and your art. So it's really a lifetime opportunity. So, okay, it might take a few days to apply for this thing, but do it. Get the application form, sit down, put in the graft, and hopefully we'll be seeing you in one big city around the world sooner rather than later.